we're just going to focus on creating the fan blade this time. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to make sure I'm locked on the 7, the numpad 7, make sure I'm locked here. If you don't know what I'm vertices. Okay, so now we have one. We have one vertex. We're going to bring it over here. I want it to be a little bit like inside, because that's where I want the fan blade to go, a little bit inside. Okay, now you place your vertex. Now just keep moving the vertices along the blade. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but you won't have to adjust it as much later on if you do it good enough the first time. I'm going to try to do this as best as possible. You don't need to have too many vertices, but you don't want to have too little either. You don't want to just do straight line each place, because then you might as well have just done a plane. Okay, that looks good enough for me. So this isn't actually based yet, but it's okay. Just press A, press F, and it'll link them. And you should be fine here. Okay, so that looks cool. That looks alright. From the side, let's see how that looks from the side here. Looks good, looks cool, I like it. Maybe the top is a little bit too in. So that looks good. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So now what we can do is we're going to press A to select all of them. Then we're going to press E, Z, make sure it's locked on the Z. Move it down to however thick you want it to be. I'd say probably right here is good. I'm going to set the origin. Oh, not like that. Okay, so that's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these. And that's good. Comes all the way around the back. Okay, so you come here and you scale Z. Bring these in close to each other, pretty close, pretty close, pretty close. If that's not sharp enough for you, you can do it again. Make sure you lock it on the Z. Boom. So that's cool. I like that a lot. Now you go to object mode and you want to check out what it looks like, right? Make this solid. So we're going to bring it up, GZ. Okay, I think that looks like a pretty sweet blade. In my opinion, I could extract the souls of the gods. You can just auto smooth normals and then shade it smooth. And now it looks awesome. Cool. This right here, you might want to change that. I mean, you could add loop cut right there and bring that down if you want, make it a little bit more smooth if you want to. But I want the back part to be thick, front part to be skinny. Now, what you want to do is you can come back here to the back, and you can't really like select all these right here to go to the back. You have to actually select them without selecting the front. So you can scale down the back, right? So I'm just going to try to select these as best as possible without selecting the front. I'm just going to get the back side. Just gonna get the back side right here, so I could have just done this. This was easier. Scale this right here, all the back. Okay, now however I want to make the back. So I'm gonna scale this Z, S to Z, and I'm not gonna make the back super thick. I mean, or skinny. I'm just gonna make it kind of a little bit thicker than the front, right? So that's pretty good. That's reasonable. That looks like a nice blade right there. Let me turn this off so I can see. So that looks good. I like that. That looks nice. That's a nice looking blade right there. Everything looks good. It's a little bit like it's smooth, right? It's smooth here and then it rounds. It's a little round and then it gets sharp, right? Boom. I like that. Looks really nice. It's how you create the blade itself. Now, if you want to deform it, you want to give it some bends. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. So Shift A. Now what you want to do is you want to actually add a lattice this time, okay? Shift A, add a lattice, and then you want to scale it up to however big you think it's gonna need to be, or just move it over first and then move it up here. Make sure you're locked on the 7 though when you're adjusting this stuff, because you don't want to be offset either with this. If you're 7, I mean, if you use 7 on the numpad, then on the number pad, then you can just move this around. It's no problem. It'll stay even. But try to get this like as close, as tight as possible, like a good fit. You know what I mean? So like that. Move that. Okay. Kind of even it out. I mean, I guess that's pretty good right there. So we'll just go with that. Now, I'm already on the lattice, but you would come down here, and if you wanted more cuts, right, you would just add, you know, some, or however many you need, really. But I think the job could get done with, I mean, this many should be fine. I'm going to move this back down to 0 on the Z-axis, so the way to do that is go to the Z, press 0, hit enter, bam, you're done. Okay, and if you want to line this up perfectly, these origins perfectly, you can just 4.7246, so we come here, 4.7246, we'd enter that in, boom. Okay, and then we would come here, and we go, so 1.7578, so we go 1.7578, and we hit enter. Okay, so now these are even, and this is like still on where you made the fan blade, so that's cool, right? Now what you got to do is you need to go to modifiers, and you need to add in a lattice. And then what you need to do is you need to select this lattice that you made. Now what you do, you go to edit mode. Well, first of all, you need to select the object and then go to edit mode. Now, whenever you move these, it'll actually move the blade wherever you need to deform it. So that would deform it. Actually, I'm going to move these up on the Z-axis so that way it's easier. And I'm going to scale this down on the Z-axis just to make sure, just to make it easier. Maybe a little bit wider. That should be good. That should be all right. Okay, so now what I can do is if I want to bring this down right here, then I can bring this down. But I gotta be in edit mode. Also, you don't even need to click these. I'm just kind of showing. You can just press tab, right? Tab will take you back and forth between object mode and edit mode. So I'm in edit mode now. If I want to make this blade lower, I can just go like this, G, Z, and it would create a little bend right there. Boom. Now, if I want to make this side a little higher, I can go G and Z, bring it up a little bit, right? however you want it to look, right? And if there isn't enough, then what you can do, just come back to your lattice and just add another cut. I don't actually want a cut right there going that way. I want one exactly like that. Okay, so now you have another spot. Okay, so I want this up. Okay, and this can go up too. And I want this blade a little bit lower, actually. So that's how I want the blade to be. I'm satisfied with the way this looks. I like this. So anyways, what you would do is you would come here and you would now apply the lattice. Okay, so now when you move it, it's not going to mess with it. Now when you move the lattice, it's not going to deform the object because it's no longer connected, right? So you don't need the lattice right now. You can just delete it. Boom. Okay, cool. See, that's gone now. And now you got your blade and you got it how you wanted, deformed, how you wanted it to be deformed, and it's nice and sharp, fat in the back, cool. Boom. Looks like a nice, sick blade, right? I made these with a curve, actually. That's why when you look, there's so many, so beveled and just made perfectly around. But the thing is, when you try to scale this down and make it sharp, it gets a little weird. So I would just make it out of a plane. Don't make it super complicated. So you come here, and before I even show you the textures, I'm just going to show you how you can even just make it appear metal, right? Or plastic, or whatever you wanted to do. I'm not even using this side, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So you would come here to your mesh, change the color to whatever you want. I'm probably going to go with more of like a darker color. That's pretty solid right there. That's already looking metal, right? Looking pretty nice. So I come here to metallic. I'll bring this up a little bit. Bring the roughness down pretty low. I'm using world lighting right now, so that's why it's reflecting that way. Anyways, as you can see, it's looking really nice. If I wanted to make it different, I can even just bevel that. Bevel it down. And then give it a nice little cut right there. A little blade action, you know? Sharpen it. I mean, that looks pretty sharp. That looks really nice. Go around each spot and just bring it down. Okay, so that looks good. I like the way this is. And you know what? I think I'm going to actually bevel the bottom a little bit. Not in the front, though. Not in the front. And I'm going to pick the bottom pieces here. Being careful not to pick pieces in the front or over there on the other side. And I can't just alt-click because if I alt-click, it'll select the whole thing. I don't want that. Do not want that at all. Okay, now I can bevel this If you don't mind having that there, that little dip here, which it kind of makes sense because it is bent. You know, it is bent. But if you don't want that, then do less bevels, less of a bevel, because I wanted this to be sharp actually. Wanted to be like the other one right there on the top, like that. Okay. A little bit like that. Boom. Now it looks good. On the bottom, on the top, it looks like a real nice blade. I really like the way this turned out. And it's got like the slanted chop, you know what I mean? That's really cool. You bevel it one time and you just slid down the loop. But anyways, the point is, this looks like a pretty badass blade. It looks really nice. It looks like it'll definitely get the job done. But this is supposed to be plastic. I was just kind of showing you an example of the texture of what you can do with the textures. So back to the textures. You can do this, make it more metallic. Super. I mean, if you go really metallic, it'll just be glass, right? That's just glass now. But you can find a little spot where it looks metal and not glass. Now you got yourself a nice blade. I like that a lot. I like the way this looks. I like the way this turned out. Right. It's nice cut. I mean, these are uneven right there, but I mean, the more you look at it, the more imperfections you're going to find, right? Like what just happened there. I just created that imperfection. So you can just keep adjusting if you need to, but a lot of this stuff is better if you just do it before you start to bevel or start to do this form. I'm just doing this to show. I wasn't really doing this to like be absolutely perfect. So make sure you have auto smooth on. And probably change the origin here. Boom. Oh yeah, if you wanted to do the texture, so this is what you would do. All right, so if you want to get some textures and you want to get them from real world images and not try to make them inside of the software, then you can come here and just type in textures or whatever. I'm going to do metal textures. I've already done this, but so I'll click this. And then I like Pixabay, so I look for Pixabay. I looked at all these, but I prefer Pixabay because there's no worries about if you can use it commercially or whatever. You know, it's free use or attribution, but usually just free use for commercial and personal, obviously. All right, so in order to add images as planes into Blender, what you first need to do is you need to make sure that you go to Preferences and go down to Add-ons and then search, just search, you know, start it, import images as planes. You want to have this checked. If you don't have this checked, what will happen is when you go to try to add images as planes right here, it won't work. So what you got to do is you go to Edit, Preferences. You have the images right here. You went to Add-ons. You typed an image. Okay, now you activate it. If you don't have auto save preferences when you exit out, then you should either turn this on or save preferences right there. And then once you're ready, you can exit out. This will still be checked, right? Now, when you go to add an image, it'll work. Image is plain, right? So Shift A, be in object mode, and then go to down to image, and then image as planes, and then you would take those textures or whatever images you wanted to import, select them, and then import images as planes down here. Boom. Then G, Z, bring them up. Anyways, so you add the images in, you bring them up, and then press R, and then press X to make sure you're going to rotate on the x-axis, and then 90 degrees. Okay, so the problem is I imported these images and they are transparent. You can see right through them. That's not good, because if you put them on here, what's going to happen is if you put them on your object's going to become see-through, transparent, just like that. But what you can do is you can uncheck this backface. You'll be fine. And if you don't uncheck backface, you can just do opaque. Same with this one. You want to get rid of backface. Okay, so now that that's gone, your object is no longer transparent. I mean, the texture looks okay right now, but what you actually want to do is select your object, your mesh in object mode, come over here, or any side, and then right click, do a vertical split, move it over to whatever side you want. Probably right here is pretty good, or maybe a little bit more. You want to change this to, in the general, to UV editor, and move it over a little bit so you can see all the stuff, all the options, and nothing's cut off. And then you want to come to whichever image you're using. So you're using this one, then you do that. Okay, now you want to get out of object mode, so you can just tab into edit mode. Now that's already unwrapped, but that's because I have this activated. If you have this activated, then it'll show you automatically without even unwrapping. So let's just do it this way, because it's probably how you see it. Anyways, you go from object mode into edit mode, up here or with tab. And then in edit mode, you want to press A to select all. And if it's already unwrapped, I mean, it shows that it's unwrapped, it's probably not. Or if you don't have this selected, then this wouldn't be here. So what you want to do is you want to press U and then go to Smart UV Project. Sometimes unwrap doesn't work. So Smart UV Project and then hit OK. And now you should be fine. It'll be on there and it'll look like that until you fix it up. But so press A in edit mode to select everything. And you can actually move this. Hold shift. You can move. Oops. You can move these around, right? Just to kind of show you that you can adjust where you want the textures to be. You can scale this down, scale it out, whatever you want to do. And that's helpful for for right here, the texture is consistent, so it's not really like a big deal, but for like a logo or some text, then sometimes you might want to flip them around, right? You might want to move like the top part of this and bring it down over here, and you flip it around, or you might want to maybe move this side over here, or whatever you got to do. If you need to add your textures on certain faces, like on a cube, then you would adjust them like that here. But anyways, now that's how you do that. So what you can do is you can come down to your materials and you can adjust metallic and roughness, are like the things that make the biggest difference with emission. Also, the biggest difference is metallic. Unless you change the surface, then you can do some other stuff here. But anyways, for this, you don't really need to do that. Menu as an example. So you can go to metallic, adjust it up, just darken it, make it better. Now you change the roughness, bring the roughness down a little bit. good. Nice. So anyways, you would adjust that and try to make it look as, as nice and awesome. I mean, that's pretty good. It looks all right. This was just to show you how you would do that, how you would add the textures, right? From images, how to add the textures from images onto your objects, your mesh. And then another thing you can do is you can switch your material, so you can change your material actually to metal. If you wanted it to be the metal texture, you got one and you wanted to pick that up, cool, you got that. So you could come up here and also do the texture and then press A and that'll show up, and if it doesn't, then you press U and you do Smart UV Project and it should pop up for you and it'll adjust it, and there you go.